So the whole game plan is to do this renovation on the cheap and as much of it ourselves as possible. The two big things about this space are the ceilings, which have this really dated popcorn texture, which, well, looks old. The other thing is the floors. This green tile is not helping at all, so getting rid of that and replacing it with some wood floors is gonna do a lot.
So we started the reno by taking out the old trim.
Oh, watch out.
Before we can take out any of the floors or anything like that, we needed to get this out of the way. Now, I wasn't too careful with it because I know we are going to be replacing it with some square molding in the future. After that, we could take out all of the carpets, the old doors, and eventually that old green tile. Here, I'm using a cold chisel and a hammer to knock them off the floor.
So before anyone else says it, let me go ahead and say I should have been wearing gloves. I definitely busted my hands up a little bit, so don't be dumb like me. Be safe.
So like I mentioned, the tile came up pretty easily, not too much work, but the adhesive underneath would not come up, and I needed to get it out so that I had a flat surface to work on. So I ended up having to bring out the big guns. I went to my local tool rental place and I got this big rotary demolition hammer drill thing. It was crazy and it just blew through all of this adhesive. You can see how much flatter it is now. Before I could lay any floor, I needed to trim my door jambs just a little bit so that the flooring could get underneath them so it would look really seamless and clean. We chose an acacia wood laminate that had a tongue and groove edge so everything snapped and locked together really easily. I just had to lay the underlayment down, tape all the seams, and then lay the wood. I had to make sure and stagger all of my seams, that way I didn't have any overlapping joints. And a couple pieces I did have to get my jigsaw and trim a couple pieces so that they would either fit into a door jamb or into a funky corner so that everything fit nicely. Once the floors were laid, we just had to install the transition piece by installing this metal bracket that the transition piece snapped into. Then it was a seamless joint between the carpet and the entryway. If you didn't know already, getting rid of popcorn ceilings is surprisingly easy. You just need to spray your ceiling with water a couple times about a half hour before you scrape it, and it all just falls off really easily. Then we could remove the old light fixture, wipe the ceiling down with a tack cloth to make sure it was really clean, and then roll on a couple coats of paint. Here I'm cutting down a 3/4 inch piece of MDF into 1x4 pieces. Now you can buy pre-made, pre-painted trim, but it's about half the cost if you make it yourself. After you cut the sheets into 1x4 pieces, you want to seal the edges with a mixture of 3 parts wood glue, 1 part water. Then you can put on a couple coats of paint, and it's as good as what you would buy. Installing trim is pretty straightforward. You just want to case your doorways and make sure that everything is as square as you can make it. Then you can fill in all of your holes from your nails, as well as all of your joints with wood filler or spackle, sand everything, and then put one last coat of paint on it. We knew that going into this project, we wanted to do a cool mirror accent wall so that everything would be bigger, brighter, and more open. But after pricing out the cost of what mirrors would be, we decided to do this cool alternative. We took these $5 wall mirrors from Walmart, took them out of the frames, and then we could add adhesive to the back and stick them to the wall. The adhesive we're using is called Fuse It. I'll have a link down in the description with everything else that I'm using for the most part. And it's got a cool property to where if you hold it in place to whatever you're sticking to for about 30 seconds, it grabs and holds itself, which is really, really cool. Now we wanted to make sure that the front door wasn't going to swing open and crack all of these mirrors, so I installed this really sleek, modern doorstop. I just had to drill a couple anchors into the floor, then installed the bracket with a couple of screws, and the doorstop itself just screwed onto the bracket. It's actually really, really strong, and it looks really cool. With the doorstop on, I moved to building the light fixture for this project. Now, I made a separate video for this, and it's going to come out in a week or so. There'll be a link on the screen in the corner, as well as down in the description when that video comes out. It's not an incredibly complicated project, but I felt like it deserved its own video, plus this one was already getting kind of long. Once everything was properly wired and attached to the ceiling, I could add my shade that I actually made from a glass vase from Dollar Tree, and then screw in my light bulb. So this video is brought to you by the Sylvania Smart Plus line of LED lighting and accessories. In my fixture, I'm using the standard A19 bulb that can easily be set up and paired using the Apple HomeKit and controlled using Siri. Hey Siri, turn the entryway green.
Not only can you change the color of the bulbs, but you can also set a specific color temperature or brightness to fit your mood or your space. And because it's all controlled through your Apple HomeKit, you can set scenes and automation to improve your energy efficiency or to make it look like somebody's home when you're actually away. So make sure and follow the link down in the description to check out Sylvania's full line of smart home lighting and accessories. You can get bulbs, LED strips, outdoor lights, just about anything you can imagine. Thanks again, Sylvania.
The last part of this renovation was to organize the closet a bit, and I built these simple boxes that I could put on each side of the door inside of the closet. I also raised the coat rack just a little bit so that I had extra space. To save even more money, we decided to reuse the old door. We just put on a couple coats of white paint and then replaced the old brass hinges with some nice stainless steel ones. And obviously we weren't going to put the old brass door handle back on, so we got a really cool modern door handle off of Amazon that looks awesome, and it was super easy to install. I had never replaced a door handle before, so I just made sure and followed the directions, and it was really, really easy. So overall, I am pumped with how this renovation went. I think it's my second proper room renovation on my channel, and I am so excited with how it came out. The floors look amazing, the mirror wall is incredible, and makes this space look so much bigger. Plus, the closet is organized now, so that's way more functional too. Initially, the plans were to just buy a light fixture, but I think building your own is really cool, and the fact that it's a one-of-a-kind is awesome.